Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Anise Fisher. I am the founder and CEO of Developing Capacity Coaching, and I'm really excited to have you join us for our end of the year reflection. So this is going to be a time for us over the next 26 minutes just to pause, to reflect, to have some rise questions and some questions. If you want to share in the chat box, where you are coming to us from, that would be good. I can see your name already. And I would ask folks to share what made you join us today. You could have been a lot of things. I know folks are trying to check everything off the box before you go out, hopefully for a few days. What made you give us some of your time? You could just put it in the chat box. So while you're doing that, I'll go ahead and get started with the land, labor, and solidarity acknowledgement. And I'm the founder and CEO of Developing Capacity Coaching. My name is Dr. Anise Fisher. We sit on the Council of Three Fires land here in Chicago. And we all start with a land acknowledgement. One, because we stand in solidarity with our Indigenous family in their request for reparations and their request for restoration of land, but also economic, the restoration of the year's economic devastation that has been forged upon them. So we stand in solidarity with our Indigenous. Believe it's possible for us to return the rightful lands as well as financial obligations that's owed to our Indigenous family. In relation to labor, we look at this from a lens of enslaved peoples that were forcibly brought to the United States. And for us, we believe that reparations is possible, that the backbreaking labor of enslaved people that built the financial institutions and fabric of this country requires that folks be given reparations, and that the financial oppression that's exhibited by folks of color, that is received by folks of color, should be repaired. And then we also look at the labor of our Chinese family, our Mexican family, and several other immigrant families that came over to the United States that were treated in very oppressive ways in order to build a lot of the institutions in this country. And lastly, we stand in solidarity with anybody that is seeking to end oppression in their lives. We might not know every single marginalized population, and we may not be able to quote every bit of right that they're trying to gain in the United States and globally, but we will not block anybody. We believe that each and every one of us has power and choice to make decisions that create much more equity and justice for all. So who we are as a company, quickly, I think I have met all of you all in some way, shape, or form, but if not, Developing Capacity focuses to empower purpose-driven change leaders to overcome obstacles on their journey. And so we do this in a variety of different ways, transforming personal leadership through building team capacity, through our organizational culture programs and data-informed decision-making. You're experiencing what we would consider a transforming personal leadership opportunity, which is time for you to reflect on your own leadership and how you have navigated the world as such this year. So time together, we have some reflect questions, some rise questions, and some renew questions. What we ask coming into the space, that you enter into the space without judging yourself or judging other folks. So you think about possibilities, that you would be open to accepting that we're going to try our best to close every part of the conversation, but that might not happen. So we want to ask you to expect non-closure, but we will do our best to do that. That intention doesn't override impact, accept responsibilities. When we're engaging with one another, you say something and you step in, and just ask you to accept responsibility and learn from it. This is a brave space and a confidential space. I will give people the opportunity to come off mute. And in the case when I do that, I will ensure that I pause recording so that your personal reflection is not shared on video. So let's see, folks said that they want to break from their day They're in their car. They wanted to break the day, wanted to be around like-minded people and rest. Folks said it's been a rough year, yes, personally, professionally, and especially with the anti-DEI legislation and just the unknown that's happening right now. And then folks that are here that's excited to learn. Okay, so go ahead and grab a pen or open a blank page in your notebook or a blank page on your desktop. This is going to be us going through a set of reflection questions, and then I'll give folks time to share, and then we will wrap up. And then I will give you a PDF that you can have for yourself, or you can share it with other people on your team. This is a great opportunity if you're still trying to determine how you're going to have closure on your team or closure for your organization. You can use this activity. So feel free to grab a pen or open a blank page, and just let me know you're ready by putting a thumbs up emoji or just saying I'm ready in the chat box so I can go on to the next slide. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's go. Okay, so we're going to start with our reflect questions. And I want you to answer these 3 questions, and then I'll pause the recording and I'll give folks a chance to share. Again, the recording will be paused. We're an intimate group. A lot of people tend to look to these after the fact, but they won't hear your responses because we'll have paused. So this is the chance for us to, be in community with some like-minded folks, as someone else shared. I want you to ask yourself, how am I doing? And then I want you to ask yourself, how am I really doing? And I don't know if you know the science behind this, but people often say when you ask someone how they're doing, they usually don't give you the real answer the first time around. So you should ask them again, how are you really doing? So I'm asking you, how are you doing? Then you're going to ask yourself, how am I really doing? And I want you to get a bit more honest. And then the third question is, whew, you have made it through a whirlwind. And somebody said this in the chat box. It has been a whirlwind year. 2024 has come, and 2024 had everyone clutching their pearls in every which way or grabbing their hats. What were the challenges for you in 2024? But what were the best moments? What were some moments where you experienced joy or you smiled? So go ahead and take about 3 minutes and just answer the questions. How am I doing? How am I really doing? And yes, I have made it through the year. We are proclaiming everyone's going to wake up on January 1st in 2025. So you're going to make it through the rest of the year. And we want to look at what were the challenges and best moments. I'll give you about 3 minutes to answer these questions, and then I'll ask a few people to share. Okay. Okay. And this is just to get you going. Most of these questions, folks could probably spend 20, 30 minutes on each question, but this is just to kind of get you going on the reflect. I'm going to pause the recording and ask, is anybody open to sharing their responses to any of these? You do not have to come on camera. Please continue to do you. We're on enough screens, but is anyone open to sharing how they're doing, how they're really doing, and any of their whirlwind moments? I'm gonna pause the recording. So with this rise, I want you to take in a moment to think about, where do you feel like you want to forgive yourself? Let something go before the year ends. For me, I'm forgiving myself and letting go. I was in partnership, and I did all I could in this partnership, and unfortunately, it didn't last. And so I kept saying, what could I done? What could I done? All the things that swirl in your head over and over again. And then I'm like, I just gotta forgive myself for like putting myself through this cycle of continuing to let my mind go and go and go on, which can create some torment on ourselves. I'm just forgiving myself from that, and I'm laying it to the side and saying what's done is done. You might have something different. And then the second thing is, based on what you're learning about yourself in 2024, and you know the work ahead, what are you planning to do in 2025? For me, I'm planning to let things go at a faster rate than I did in 2024. And I know it's easier said than done, but I'm saying to myself, Anise, let things go, and not continue to let kind of sit on your shoulder where you've done all that you can do. I'm not going to be able to carry that into 2025 because I already know that 2025 is in general be a heavy year for us nationally and globally. So I'm going to be managing and having some boundaries on what I'm leaving on my shoulders. So what do you need to forgive yourself for before the year ends that you want to leave in 2024? And then based on what you're learning about yourself now, um, and what's ahead, what are you planning to do in 2025? You want to take a few moments to think about that, and I'll ask for one or two people to share, and then we'll go to the last slide and we're done. And then you'll have a PDF of all of these things for yourself. Again, this is just a time for reflection, for us to lay things aside. Okay, so we're gonna move from the rise questions. I need to forgive myself. The year ends, and then asking yourself, based on what you learned about yourself, moving ahead, what are you planning to do? So, okay. And the final set of reflection questions is around renewing. And renewing is this idea of, how do we begin to align more with our values and our goals in 2025? Everything around us pushing us to go, 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 go. And one of the things that we've been encouraging people to do in developing capacity coaching, and something that we're thinking about as we move forward, is how do you make moves that would allow you to be much more connected to your values. And then the last question is, before you transition in 2025, how do you plan to renew your mind, your body, and your spirit? And I'm going to drop in the chat box here for you a PDF document of all of these questions, because these questions will give you you can feel free to share this with people in your organization, or if you want to take some more time to do it after our time together. But this will give you all 3 sets of questions in one. And really, this set of questions is just getting you to think about What's the refresher of your spirit that you want to give to yourself before we hit 2025? What would give you that joy? What would give you that boost? Want to take a few minutes to think about that. And then here's the slide that has all of the reflection questions on it. Okay. I know that we are right at time, and I just want to respect people's time since we slated this for only 30 minutes. But I really want to encourage you to take these sets of questions, and you can use this at any time. I encourage you, if you have partners, if you have people that you're working with, you can take any one of these sets of questions and pop them at the end of your agenda, or invite your team members for coffee or tea or any other type of beverage to do these reflection questions, or for you to snuggle up in your favorite chair, um, do these questions for yourself. But this is really an opportunity for us. We wanted to close there with giving people a chance just to slow down, to reflect, figure out where you want to rise from that reflection, and then finally to think about how you want to renew yourself, because coming ahead of us, we don't know. We know, but we don't know. And part of what we feel like is that we have to ground ourselves and some healing by releasing some things before the year ends. We got to pump ourselves up with some strength and pump ourselves up with some hope as we head into 2025 and much of the unknown. Here's a QR code if you want to give us any feedback about the question. This will also be in the post webinar email. So what'll happen is you'll email to your inbox. It'll have a video. You can re-listen to this video again. It'll PDF, and then it'll have this feedback form. I thank you all for giving us your time today. Just take a moment to unplug and just really tune into yourselves. It's countercultural to do that during the workday, but we think it's important for people to build that anchor in where you pause and you reflect, just take some time to go inward. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and stop the recording, and then I'll invite people to share anything that they want as we close out. And please don't feel any pressure to. And thank you all so much for joining.